no buffalo. They're like, hey, you need to go pick it up on a trailer in Holland. Yeah, so from there it would have been like a 3.5 hour drive. I was like, it's already late, like I'm gonna go home. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing with the car? Like an hour and a half Sunday so like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So they're like, all right, then you need to go to Minden, pick your stuff up, go back and pick up my stuff, and then be in Tacoma, California by 9 a.m. on Thursday. So I looked that up. It's literally on the phone.
I'm doing well. What's up?
We just had to connect with you on LinkedIn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just send, I was wondering if you got my...
I probably did. I just haven't. I haven't gone in and like accepted all the invitations yet. I'm sure it's okay though.
2.5 hours, loaded my truck, trailer, came back and got loaded some more stuff, came to class, and I'll be up at 2 a.m. tomorrow to drive. And then the guy who I'm meeting down there, another guy who works for us, just sent me a picture. And he goes, hey dude, by the way, this is the deal for the project. That's the he's like border patrol drives by every 15 minutes.
And you know that.
I'll be there Thursday, Friday. Friday night. It's just one of those things where they're just like, hey, by the way, go do this. And you're like, what am I supposed to say? I told him, I was like, I'll do it, but I'm not just going to do rocks because this is like, he starts Monday and Friday. So I have from 1 to 2:30. 5:30. Oh yeah.
AV, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Is there a Milton there? Milton, hey, I just faxed back your ad slip, okay, man?
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
That's all right. Well, perfect.
Yes.
I'll pick it up in the ITV lab.
Okay, sounds good. Is there a hand back there I see? Okay. Can you do the same thing Milton did? Just send me an ad slip through the fax machine?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Look, give it to me, I'll pass it.
Any other questions for AV?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, how is everybody?
Good.
Cool. Good to hear. So last time we went over the syllabus and went over sort of the intro to this class from my point of view. Today, also kind of a shortened lecture. I'm still trying to figure out how to fit the right amount of material into the time frame for this class versus the morning class, which is only 50 minutes. So bear with me. We may get done a little bit early again today if that's not going to bother anybody. Okay. So today I want to go over kind of small business in general at a big picture level, and then talk a little bit about your projects. So. The topics I want to go over in the sort of outline today are, first of all, how interesting of a time it is to be involved with small business management right now. It's a really, really exciting time to be doing this kind of stuff, and I'll talk a little bit about why that is. Talk a little bit about what is a small business, actually. It's no easy task to define sometimes, surprisingly. Talk a little bit about some of the major problems that face most small businesses, and then some of the current trends that are facing small business owners. Talk a little bit about why people start businesses. Talk about the characteristics of successful entrepreneurs, and do a little bit of introspective analysis towards the end. So, it's an interesting time, first of all, to be studying small business. The number of small businesses in the United States and around the world is growing quite rapidly, and it's already a sizable portion. Like I said in the last class session, over 95% of all businesses are small and medium-sized businesses. There's 23 million small businesses in the United States right now, just to paint a picture for you. And since we have a population of around 300 million, that's more or less one business for every 10 people in the United States, in round numbers, more like one for every 12 or 13. But about one out of every 10 people in the United States is a small business somewhere. They're responsible for 75% of the new job creation in this country. And so there's one thing about new job creation, there's a second thing about how many jobs overall exist in the economy. So overall, half of all jobs are with small businesses. Half of all jobs are with large corporations, because large corporations employ a lot of people all at once, even though it's one company. But 99%, I said last time 95% of all businesses or above. According to some more recent statistics, 99% of all businesses in the world are small and medium-sized businesses. And second of all, there's a trend towards the public favoring or being much more interested in and positive about small business. There's this is more than anything, first of all, identified by the fact that we have a small business concentration here at Cal State. It's also evidenced in the fact that there's programs of entrepreneurship in colleges of business all around the country and all around the world at this point. 20 years ago, that was not the case. 30 years ago, that was not the case. 20 or 30 years ago, it was kind of it was almost a dirty word in business schools to talk about small businesses. Small businesses were the ones that aren't as successful as big businesses, but that's not the perception that exists in the society anymore, and it's a good thing, because small businesses have never been bad businesses. They've always been the backbone of the economy. There's a whole lot of magazines these days that are devoted to talking about entrepreneurship and small business. Entrepreneur Inc., for example, Entrepreneurship Theory and Practice as an academic journal, as well as the Journal of Small Business Management. Fortune has a small business magazine these days. Your Company is another good small business magazine. New Business Opportunities, Black Enterprise, Hispanic Business, Entrepreneurial Woman. Family Business Review is another academic-focused journal, as well as the Journal of Family Business Strategy and the Journal of Family Business Management. I typoed that one, and that's just a few. There's all kinds of magazines out there these days that are specifically devoted to small business and entrepreneurship. In addition to that, there's a big trend towards self-employment in our society these days. So the growth rate for self-employment is actually greater than the growth rate for the general workforce overall, and there's a whole lot of mid-career managers and executives from larger corporations who are going out on their own and starting businesses or peeling off spin-off businesses from larger companies these days. So defining a small business is not as easy as one might think. It has to do with a couple different things besides just the number of employees. I think the SBA here in the United States defines a small business as any business with 500 or less employees. But 500 employees it's not so small of a business anymore. So when we talk about small business in this class, we're talking about, first of all, a relatively small management team. So we're talking about a management team you can count on both hands, usually that you can count on one hand, regardless of how many employees there are in the company. We're talking about 5 to 10 maximum individuals who are involved in senior management in the company. Capital is also supplied and ownership is held by a very small number of individuals as well, usually about the same number as there are managers or even less. Aha! BB, right? I'm going to sign this and fax it back before I forget. No problem. Bear with me 1 second here, folks. Okay, so capital and ownership supplied by a relatively small number of individuals, usually even less than the... Yes, do I see waving?
Yeah, can you expand the slides? I'm having difficulty seeing them over here.
Oh, you mean like make it bigger?
Yeah.
How's that?
Like slideshow.
How about now?
Thank you.
Oh, no problem, no problem. So capital is usually supplied by even less people than are in the management team. The area of operations is primarily local, although your market's not necessarily local. So there's not a whole lot of small businesses that'll have an operation in New York and an operation in Bakersfield here and another one in San Francisco. You're usually going to have one major point of operations, but your market and where your customers are may be global from the very beginning of the company. And then revenues are relatively small and number of employees are relatively small compared to the competition. So small business also depends a little bit on what industry you're in. In the aerospace industry, for example, the main players in the industry are companies like Northrop Grumman and Boeing, who have tens and tens of thousands of workers. So in that industry, an aerospace company with a couple hundred employees is small compared to Boeing. But in other industries, a 100-person company would no longer be considered small. So it's also a question of how big is the company compared to the other competitors in the industry, as well as where does the capital come from, where is the area of operations, and how big is the management team. There's a distinction which I think is sometimes overstated, but is a very important distinction among my academic colleagues around the world, to distinguish between an entrepreneurial venture and a small business. An entrepreneurial venture, the goal is high profitability and growth. You're not just starting a new business, you're starting a business that you want to grow and you want to make a lot of money with. A small business may grow, it may make a superior profit, but the main goal is independence. And the company may never grow very large, and it's still a valid area of business study. Some of the big problems that face most small businesses, first of all, inadequate financing. If you don't have enough money, it can lead to an inability to acquire and maintain facilities. It can kind of handicap you when it comes to hiring and rewarding capable employees. It can handicap your ability to produce and market your product. It's a constant problem for most small businesses not having enough financing. I'd say an even bigger problem than inadequate financing is actually inadequate management. I know from my own mistakes that I made running the 4 businesses that I ran. I didn't have enough financing, but really I didn't have enough of a clue. It's a better way to say what really went wrong with those businesses over time. Lack of general business knowledge and inexperience, also lack of specific knowledge of the industry that you're in, and contacts within that industry who have been there and done that. It's one of the big reasons why I require each one of your projects in here to have an expert advice contact. Far too often, small business owners are isolated and don't have somebody to talk to who's already been there and done that in their industry, and it's critically important. As hard as many small business owners work, sometimes it's not hard enough or it's not smart enough. So a lot of times the problem that a lot of small businesses will face is lack of planning, or just lack of doing your homework for lack of doing your homework, for lack of a better term. There's a tremendous amount of legwork and homework that you have to do to be successful as a small business, and there's nobody else to do it but you and a handful of people that are working on the business. So it's more homework than you would have to do working for a larger company, but it still has to be done, even if you don't have the people to do it. So a lot of times small businesses will fail because there's not enough legwork done on the homework. Another big problem is unwillingness to involve others in the decision-making process. I know from experience, I was very protective. One of the reasons I started my business is because I didn't want anybody else telling me what to do. But that same attitude that drives a lot of people to start a small business will also make you unwilling to listen to advice from other people, and that can be a real poison for the business. So you gotta make sure to involve other people in decision making and involve other people in operations. You can't try and do it all yourself, and you shouldn't try and decide it all yourself either. You should always get advice from other people. Sometimes government regulations and paperwork can be somewhat burdensome for small businesses and be a cause of failure. I think that's less the case than the first 2 factors, but there have been certainly. I tend to be a relatively left of center leaning guy politically, but there are some pluses and minuses to the left side of the spectrum, and one of the minuses is that you tend to have a lot of one-size-fits-all regulations where businesses must fill out this paperwork, and they must do this, and they must do this, and they must do this, regardless of whether they're big or small. And a lot of times, regulations like that can really kill the ability of small businesses to be dynamic and be flexible. So That can be a problem. Regulations can also be complex and contradictory with each other, and making it something that you need a legal department for, and a legal department is something a small business cannot usually afford to have. Some current trends facing small business owners. Technology obviously is just exploding these days. I think it's very important that small business owners continuously seek out new and better technologies and welcome change. I'm trying to remember a statistic that is in here. No. There's a statistic that I heard a while back that the total knowledge of the world from the beginning of Homo sapiens up until about the 1700s doubled. So it doubled from the first couple 100,000 years of human existence compared to what it was in the 1700s. It doubled again by the mid-1800s, doubled again by the early 1900s, and it's doubled twice since then. And there's a statistic out there that with the proliferation of the internet, that human knowledge is actually going to come to a point within the next couple of years where it doubles monthly. It doesn't just double in a century or a millennium, it doubles in a month. And at that speed of human knowledge change and increase, you've got to always be looking. You're going to be outdated in your technology as soon as you start using it, and you have to just be comfortable with sort of riding a wave of constant change technologically. We've seen tremendous technological change already in the last couple of decades of the world, and it's just getting warmed up. So one big trend facing small businesses is just how dynamically technology is exploding. Another trend, occupational and industry shifts. So over the course of time, you have shifting labor force skill sets. So I know when I was teaching 5 or 6 years ago, I had a lot more marketing majors than I do today. I see a lot more accounting majors now than I do marketing majors. And that those trends change over time. It may change in the future to more computer science majors, but right now I see a lot of accounting focus and not as much marketing focus. But 7, 8 years ago, I saw a lot more marketing focus. So these things shift over time, and that impacts the available talent base for hiring for your small business. Huge industry shifts, like the obsolescence really of taxis through companies like Uber, challenges to hotels through companies like Airbnb. You're seeing a lot of massive change in industries right now that's going to have cascading effects for all kinds of small businesses. So another trend is companies which are overhauling a major industry, such as transportation or hospitality. There's some global challenges as well, basically lower wages and better math and science training overseas. That comes in, when we talk about HR more in future class sessions, we'll talk about outsourcing opportunities for small businesses, and in a lot of situations, you can hire relatively cheap project-based labor from overseas, which has a better technology skill set than what you actually would find recruiting here at home anyway, and it's all done remotely via the internet. So it would be nice if we had more code programmers, if we had more engineers available to work on stuff in the United States, but actually, particularly India and China, the number of qualified available code programmers who are willing to work at a low wage is far higher than what's easily available here for a small business. So that impacts small businesses a lot. It's a shrinking world, and we're really already in an age of a one world market. So there's a statistic that I pulled out of a textbook that I don't have a textbook for this class, but I have a couple that I keep on my shelf and look at once in a while. And I pulled a statistic out of one of the recent ones that up to half of everybody graduating, up to half of all the graduates of college today will have some sort of interaction with global activities as a major element of their career in the future. I think it'll be even higher than that. If you just look around the room, this is a global room right now, and the customer base of any small business is often born global. If I go to the last point here, which means that from day one of the operations of the company, the customers were not just in the United States, or were not just in Europe, or were not just in Africa, or not just in Asia. Wherever the company started, it already had customers in different countries from the very first day of operations, and that's something that's a lot different than even 10 or 20 years ago. Why do people start small businesses? For a number of different reasons. Often it's to satisfy personal objectives like independence, passion, additional income, ability to support your family, or just a passion to provide better goods and services. Sometimes it's to achieve specific business objectives like delivering better service, or achieving a superior profit, having a certain social impact on the society around you, or to grow. And there's a real need when you start a small business, or you're working in a small business. There's a real need to mesh your objectives, I would say, which basically means you need to try and find synergies between your personal objectives and your business objectives, so that the same activity accomplishes multiple goals. I think a big problem that I had with the businesses that I ran is that my personal priorities and the things that I most liked to work on, the things that I most enjoyed doing, were not the things that the company needed the most. And I needed to find a better way to find overlap between the stuff of the business. I needed to find ways to enjoy the things that the business actually needed me to do. And I think that's a big challenge for anybody involved in small business is keeping clear in your head the nice-to-haves versus the must-haves, and learning how to enjoy doing the must-haves. Characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. Desire for independence. They usually have a strong sense of initiative, motivated by either personal passion or family considerations. They tend to expect quick and concrete results. They're able to react quickly. They're dedicated to their businesses, and often they enter business as much by chance as by design. A lot of times an entrepreneur will have a passion to have independence, will have a passion to innovate, and I may start by providing beverages to people because I know a lot of people in the building are thirsty, but then I find out that through doing that actually what's needed is better information delivery for available resources on the campus. You know, I may find out from talking with people that, you know, there's plenty of drinks around, it's just that people don't know where to find them. So I may morph my original business activity from providing drinks to providing information, just because I learned more about what the market wanted. And that all started just by having a passion to run my own business, and you sort of listen to the marketplace and let the marketplace tell you where to go and what to do. As far as the introspective analysis goes, I would challenge or encourage everyone in here to really think about what your values are, what your abilities are mentally, and what your attitudes are towards small business, and make an inventory of those. We'll get back to talking about those inventories in another class session, but I would challenge you in here to think about what does small business mean to you? What does independence mean to you? What does starting a business mean to you? And make some notes on that. We'll come back to those at another point in the semester. It's only 6 o'clock, but that's actually what I wanted to go over today. I do want to talk about one other thing, and that is your projects. So a big part of this class, like I talked about in the last session, is implementation projects. So I've got a few that I know of that may be available or interesting for you guys, but I wanted to hear from you who in here has a business or a venture in mind already that you'd like to work on for this. Okay, let me grab a marker here. Let me hear it.
It's a La Cabana restaurant.
Oh, that did not work. Why did that not work? Bear with me. There we go. Projects. Say again.
La Cabana restaurant.
La Cabana?
Yeah.
L-A-K?
No. L-A and then space C.
Ah, La Cabana.
Yeah.
With a teal over the end?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the project? Does the restaurant already exist?
Yeah.
I haven't been there before. Where is it?
There's one on White Lane and one on Golden State.
Okay. And what's the project?
Not sure.
Okay. Is it your family's restaurant?
Yeah,
Or?
it is.
Okay, cool. I like it. Other projects that people have in mind? Things that you think might be fun? Hang on, AV, I'll get to you in 1 second. Bakersfield, anything else? Seriously? Okay.
Now.
The main companies?
Not right now.
Yeah, companies, ideas, projects you think would be fun to do. Let me do AV here, and I'll get back to Baker. Yes.
Well, like we both work for the same company, but we just wouldn't know of a project because like we work for corporate office for Fast Trip, like a Fast Trip gas station.
What is it?
Fast Trip. Oh, it's called Jaco Oil.
Yep. Fast Trip, right? Like that?
Yeah.
And are those Fast Trip stations owned by an independent owner?
Yeah.
That's what I figured. Yeah, that sounds cool. You think the owner would be interested in a project of some kind?
Well, yeah, because I mean we.
Or do you think the managers, whoever you report to?
See, one of my coworkers, she works with the marketing
Yep.
aspect of Fast Trip. Will that work?
Yeah. Cool, I like it. Projects again. Oh wait, you guys. Hang on. There we go. AV, can you see me? Yes?
Good.
Okay. This thing does not roll well. Okay, so projects AV. We can work on projects across the two campuses, but I usually find it's easier if we have groups in Antelope Valley and groups here. So, Hands, Antelope Valley, tell me what you're interested in working on.
This is one pizza joint in my town of Rosemont called Jesse's Pizza. And one thing I said I want to do, we're talking about the website, is to bring more web presence, because they just got onto Facebook.
Yep.
So I think that's something that they would want to further develop.
Cool. Jesse's Pizza, web presence. What's your name again?
Nicholas.
Nicholas, what city is Jesse's Pizza in again?
Rosemont.
Where?
Rosemont.
Rosemont. Oh, Rosemont.
M-O-N-D. R-O-S-A-M-O-N-D.
M-O-N-D?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, other ideas in Antelope Valley? Yeah, in the back there.
This is Milt again.
Milt, hey.
I've had a couple exposures with a prison rail network.
Prison Rail?
Prison rail. Yeah.
Okay, Prison Rail Network, yeah. Tell me about it.
Okay. It matches inmates with a marketable skill so
Yep.
that it helps get their release and so they can have a job when they get out.
Uh-huh.
And it helps people that are visually challenged to get their media so that they can have books that they read by braille or by audio.
Cool. And is the training for prisoners just teaching them Braille and how to teach others?
It's standardized, it's well established in the Midwest, and there's a few people like in Northern California, but it's almost non-existent in Southern California, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico.
Okay. Expand in SoCal Southwest.
Yeah.
Cool. Other ideas from Antelope Valley? Other ideas or interests from Bakersfield? Sam?
My uncle owns a construction company that I work somewhat off and on with. Just hearing the other guy with the web presence, I would love to do something for him. He's getting older in age and he doesn't get the whole online part of the marketing, so if that could be a project, that'd be awesome.
Sam's uncle?
Oh, Blackhurst Construction, sorry.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, for sure.
And this is web development?
Yeah.
Cool. Let me mention a couple others that I know of, just to get you guys ideas thinking. That wasn't really a good phrase. Get your guys' minds thinking about ideas. You know what I meant. So, I've got a couple of different software apps that, there's one in particular that does facilities management for a lot of different kinds of places. Sam, you're probably familiar with it from last semester. We worked on it a little bit in the entrepreneurship class. Brittany, you're probably familiar as well. It's facilities management for, Martin, you're probably familiar with it as well. It's facilities management for 24-hour fitness. So a buddy of mine is an IT developer for 24-hour fitness, and he had an idea for a mobile app that allows you to take a picture of things that aren't working correctly, document what's not working, bubble that up to the repair folks, and then track in a database whether things have been repaired or not. So that's a project that we could work on as well. I had some students on working on it last quarter, and it's sort of halfway done. In addition to that, let's see here. I'm gonna dump a number of ideas to you guys. Some of these may be better suited for my morning class. Some of them may be better suited for here. So let me just throw them out there as thoughts, and then we can talk about all these again next week and the week after. But I've got a student working on drone technology for the agriculture sector. So it's basically, he's got solar-powered drones that will fly over at ag field and basically take pictures of whether the soil temperature is right, how the crops are growing. There's even some ways to measure pests and stuff like that, all with a drone remotely over the area. There's another engineering student I know that is working on smart irrigation technology, which basically is it's basically putting sensors into the ground at various levels to check what the moisture level is for various plants, and automatically starting the watering process through a computer program if the moisture level at certain areas of the soil goes down below a certain level. So that's and both of those, given the fact that we're such a big agriculture sector here in Bakersfield, are exciting projects that I'd like to see continue forward. Shout, that Sam is familiar with. Joe's in the other class, so we've got some of the students, Sam here in your class is one of them, had a great start last semester on a group home for troubled teens. That might be a project that we can move forward as well. Like I said, some of these may be better suited to the morning class, some of them may be better suited to here, and some of them we may be able to do a project in both classes. Sam, yeah?
So if I can ask, with those like student-type projects,
Yep.
You're working across the classes instead of with OMARs and the irrigation, all that stuff.
Yep.
How would we go about a project, if you could explain a little more, like with them, in terms of they're not a business yet and they're not established quite yet, so what would we do for them to be considered for this class as our project?
It depends on the project, but Omar's project, for example, that the drone project, the website needs to be expanded considerably. I mean, we just threw some stuff up there so people could read it, but it looks like crap. It could look a lot better. We barely scratched the surface on customer interviews. Everything that I mentioned in that rubric of what I need to do for the project needs to be expanded.
So the marketing side, mostly, for those at least, most specific.
Marketing side, but also examination of the competition, like really everything that got started last semester could be done twice as well this semester. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And similarly for Shout, like wherever things are at, there's the next step to take. So those are a couple of the projects. Let me mention a few others for you guys, and then I'll let these various ideas percolate in your heads. Brittany, did you work on the Cajon Ranch project? That's what I thought. They want to do more. Yeah.
That's gonna be my project then.
Yeah.
Tell me that.
So I'll tell everybody else a little bit more about Cajon Ranch. Are you leaving?
Yes.
Okay. See ya. So Cajon, anybody, who here is familiar with the name Cajon Ranch? Okay, everybody's familiar with it. Do you know what that company actually does? Who knows? AV? Anybody? So Cajon Ranch does a couple different things. It's a privately owned company. They really are real estate developers. So they own a lot of land around Tehachapi, in the Grapevine, the South Valley.
276,000 acres.
A lot. How'd you know that? Okay, well, yeah, they have a lot. I didn't know that number, but they have a lot of acreage, and a lot of it they use to they develop for the Cajon outlets, shopping malls. They develop it for agriculture. They also have a large nature preserve, which is in the Tehachapi Mountains and in the Grapevine, and they started last semester developing a mobile app which allows people to sort of do a virtual visit to the nature preserve. It lets them see all the different kinds of wildlife and plants and stuff that they have in the reserve and look at it all, in a convenient mobile platform. So that's something that they expressed an interest in continuing working on. So another potential project for here, either Bakersfield or Antelope Valley or both. And then two other things. How many people in here are familiar with the fact that we're building an edible garden on the Cal State Bakersfield main campus? That project it's a little bit stalled right now, but it is going to move forward. And if anybody's interested in working on that, we can add that into the mix. We need to, same kind of things, we need to build out the website, we need to talk to more potential customers and partners, we need to talk to expert advisors. The whole thing, the whole same shebang needs to be done for that project as well. And then finally, I have a fitness and kinesiology company which is interested in doing a marketing plan. I can't remember the name of the company right now, but basically fitness and personal training company that's interested in doing a marketing plan around town here. So let me throw those all out into the hopper for you. You've also got a couple of ideas here on the screens. I am going to take a picture of these screens before I forget so I remember everything we talked about. And I'd like you guys between now and next week to think about all the different projects that I mentioned, the ones that are on the board and the ones that I mentioned after that, and think about which of these projects you'd like to work on. And if none of them sort of tickle your fancy, tell me what you would like to work on. Tell me the kind of business you think would be cool to work on, and we'll go out and find it. Okay? Okay, that's it for today. That's it for this week. I'll see you guys next Monday.
So, and I just note to help.
That's okay.
That was also, there's also this wonderful app that I use all the time. It's actually a hunting map. That's the primary purpose of it. But it shows you all the land ownership anywhere in California, anywhere in the state, no matter where you look it up.
Yeah.
So like you can pull up a specific spot, hold it, and it'll tell you like that section of the ranch is 169,000 acres. It tells you the hunting zones, the locations, the owner, and their address.
Can you email me with the name of this app?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So it's
Yeah, I have some other ideas of what that might be useful for.
There's lots of things that it's
Yeah.
useful for. You can pull up people's houses and see where owns a house, and it pulls up everything. So, and tax
Yeah,
addresses.
send me a reference to that. I'm interested in it for some other reasons too. Yes,
Do you know your senior seminar?
I do know that.
Projects are these different or do we have to keep them?
Senior seminar is different than
Different?
this.
Okay, yeah, we're just wondering.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Okay, thank you.
Hey,
Yeah, I have a question about personal involvement. Yeah. When do you want this?
as soon as you can send it.
Okay, do you need like private contact this or private thing?
Yeah, just type it in here.
Okay.
Just delete the red
Okay.
and type your own answers.
Okay.
And email it to me.
Okay, so you need short answers.
Yeah, just short answers.
Okay.
Just fill out the box.
Okay, sounds good.
Couple sentences.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Have a good one.
Hi. What?
Internship?
Do I?
Yeah, do you offer an internship?
I don't have any, but I can help you find one.
Because I see in my plan, they say in the summer internship in the summer 2017. When I asked my friend, they say Jim Wood, he's the one they over. Ask him if that is wrong. Whatever you see.
I don't have a formal internship ready, but I can help you find a company here in the area where you could do an internship.
They say like I got email today for finding. I think in February too. They have some buses they coming over here so you can work with them. I got that email, but they say in February too. I think.
I'm not sure. But regardless of who's coming to campus on February 2nd, I can ask around companies here and see what kind of internships are available.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Email me to remind me, okay?
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
No problem.
I'm planning to go to visit them in April too.
Yeah, no, go on February 2nd, but
Yeah.
email me to remind me as well.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
No problem. AZ, do you guys need me for anything? Do you have any questions for me? Do you need me?
No, sir, have a good night.
Okay, cool. Have a good weekend.
About accepting outside help? Yeah. You can do it on
Professor, is it okay that I just submitted one professional development plan for both your classes?
Yeah,